welcome. Today I'm going to take you step by step on how to make this hanging strawberry plant, or one that looks a lot like it. What you'll need is a yarn needle, 3 stitch markers, scissors, and I'm going to be using 2 hooks, size H 5.0, and then I'm going to use a size I 5.5. I'll be using this one when I'm doing 2 strands of yarn at the same time. For the yarn, I chose Yarn Bee's Rustic Romantic, and this color is olive, and use that for the bottom half of the basket. And then for the top half, I'm going to use I Love This Yarn, and this color is just white. Now for the leaves, I'm going to be using Red Heart Ombre, and this color is green apple, and just love the way the colors all complement each other. And so what I've done is taken and made a bunch of individual little balls so that I can pull the color that I want out, just kind of depending on if I want to go with a lighter color or a darker color. Here's an example of some of the different colors you can pull out of there. The ones that I'm going to use on this particular project, I've chosen this little color combination. Now for our dirt, we'll use Yarn Bee Tender Touch Sable, and we only use it just a little bit in the top of the basket right there. So next we have the flowers, and I have a Red Heart Bright Yellow that I'm using for the center of the flowers. And then for the petals, I'll use the white, the same white that we used for the top of the basket. And then for our strawberries, I'm using Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek, and this color is red. And of course that's for the strawberry. And then for the embellishment, I'm using like an off-white or cream color. The embellishment is totally optional. You don't even have to use it. You could even use the white they use for the basket. So totally up to you. What do you want to do? So I think that's it. That's all the materials that we need. So let's get started. I'm going to use the bigger hook, the size 5.5 or the I. And we're going to start with the base color. So here's our sample. First thing that we're going to do is we're just going to, we're going to work 2 strands, same color, and we're going to do 6 single crochet in a ring. So I'm just going to wrap it around like I'm going to do a slip knot. Start the slip knot and don't finish the slip knot. Just kind of pull that up. Hold it between your finger and your thumb. Make a little chain there instead. And we're just going to kind of pull on that to tighten it up a little bit. My magic ring, I just try to make sure that it's only big enough to fit like a couple of fingers so that it's not too wonky to work with. And then we're going to put 6 single crochet in that ring. 3, 4, 5, 6. I count more for me than I do for you so I don't lose my place. And then you just grab onto your little tails there, pull it tight. And then we're going to do 6 increase for the next round. So of course this yarn is kind of hard to see where that first stitch is, but it's right. You can also count backwards. So here's our last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here is our stitch. So that's kind of a nice way to be able to find it, because it always looks so funny. Okay, we're just going to push it right in there. And so the next round is 6 increase, and that all that means is putting 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So there's one. I'm going to put another one in that same stitch. And then we need to do that 5 more times. So we're just going to work our way around. There's 1, 2, 1, 2. We've done it 3 times. 1, 2, that's a 4th. 1, 2, that's a 5th. And 1, 2, that's 6. So for the next couple rounds, I'm going to go ahead and use a stitch marker and put it in the last stitch of the round. And for the next round, we need 1 single crochet and an increase 6 times. So the first stitch, we're going to do 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to do 2. So there's 1, there's 2, then we go back to 1, and then we put 2 in this one, back to 1, 2 in this one, 1, 2 in this one, 1, 2 in that one. There's 1, and now we've run into our stitch marker. So take the stitch marker out. Do our increase in the last stitch. Put our stitch marker back in. We're only going to be using that for the first few rounds. And then we're ready for round 4. Okay, for round 4, we're going to be doing 2 single crochet and then an increase. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in that stitch, 1 in the next stitch, so that's our 2 single crochet, and then we do an increase, which is 2 stitches in the same stitch, 2 single crochet in the same stitch. We're just going to repeat that all the way around. So there's 1, 2, and then we put 2 in the same one, 1 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 in the next. We'll fast forward to the end of the row. Okay, now we'll do our last set. Do 1 in that one, 1 in that one. There's our stitch marker again. 2 in that one. Plug that stitch marker back in again. Like so. And then for round 5, we're going to do, this will be the last row that we do, that we're doing increases. So we are going to do 3 with 1 single crochet in each stitch. So there's 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 2 into the next, in the 4th one, and then we're going to repeat that. Put 1 in that one, one in the next one, one in the third one, and then we're going to put 2 in the fourth one for our increase. And we're just going to keep going around until we get to the end of the row. Actually, stop before you get to the end of the row before you do that last set. Okay, we're ready for our last set here. And so instead of doing the increase at the end, we are going to change that up a little bit. So put in your 1, 1, 1 3 times there, and then we're just going to add 1 in the last one instead of putting 2 in there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to join, and then do a chain 1. Now we're going to start working up the side of our basket. So this is round 6, and we're going to do 29 single crochets, but we're going to do them in the back loop only. And so all that means is we've got both, here's our both of our loops. This is the front loop, over here is the back loop. So front loop, back loop. So we're just going to slide that into the back loop, and we're going to go all the way around until we come back to our starting point. So you just go in the back loop, and you got 2 strands of yarn, remember, so you're going to go through both those strands. You always have 2 strands of yarn on your hook. And we're just doing single crochets. There's no increase. So we're just doing that all the way around. Oh, I think I dropped something there. So you're just going to do that, and we're just creating this little ridge right here. We're just going to keep going around in the back loop only, all the way around to the start. Okay, we're getting close. We didn't put a stitch marker in. You can certainly put one in if you feel more comfortable, but I can see where our little row has started right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that in that stitch. Got another stitch here, and this is where we're going to go ahead and put it in that little loop there. And now we're going to skip over this right here. We're going to connect, we're going to join right there. So we're going to just slide that in, pull it through the yarn on the loop on our hook, and then we're going to do a chain 1. And so we've created a little lip there. So we are ready for the next round. Okay, now we're on round 7, and we're just going to do 29 single crochet. We're going to go through both loops. So it's just on that, we're just going into that next stitch, and we're going to go around and do single crochets all the way around. And just work your way all the way around until you get to the end. I'll meet you there. All right, we're getting close to our starting point. We're just going to keep going till we get to the little indentation where our little seam is happening. We're not going to go into that first one right, or that one right there. We want that to be our, we want to pull it together with a join with a slip stitch. And then we chain one, and then we start with this next stitch right here, and we just go all the way around again to the end. But before you do the last stitch in this round, stop right there and I'll meet you there. Okay, we're nearly there, and we're going to change color at the end of this round. So we're going to do our last couple of stitches. There's our little indentation where our seam is. And so we want to change colors in the next round. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to insert our needle, and instead of pulling this color through, we're going to pull through our white. So I'm going to get 2 strands of white, like so, and we're just going to pull it through. We're pulling it through, and you can do it you know, you can fasten it on however you like. That's the way this is the way I like to change colors. And so now I've got it on my hook, and I'm going to pull it tight both ways, and I'm going to pull that one too. And I'm going to start picking up my yarn again. And I'm going to chain one, and then we're going to start round 9, which is 29 single crochets in the back loop only again. So we're going to go right in there in the back loops. We're just working our way around. 2 strands of yarn on our hook. And the reason I'm using the bigger hook is because of the 2 strands. It's a little easier to work with. All right. Work your way all the way around to our beginning point, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I reckon I could have cut this way back when we started the round, or as soon as we changed colors, but I'm going to just go ahead and do that now. So we'll just cut it just enough to tie a knot. I'm not going to tie them together yet. I'm going to wait until we get up a couple rows. And we're almost to the end of this round. We're still in the back loops only. And so that's our joining chain. And we're going to go into there. So we're going to slip stitch. Just pull through. Do a chain. And now for the next round, we're just going to do 29 single crochets all the way around, and actually we're going to do that and for the next, we're going to repeat that, so we're actually going to have 2 rows the same. So you're going through both loops, and you're doing single crochets all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of this round. All right, we're at the end where you got the little dip, and you can see our little seam coming right up here. So I'm going to get that last stitch in. I'm going to skip over that one right here and go into this one right here. There. And do that slip stitch. And then we're going to chain one, and that's going to start our next row. We're going to come over here to this one right here. And we're just going to do single crochet all the way around. Carry on and I'll meet you at the end. We are nearly finished with our little basket. So we're going to go single crochet in the last stitch. We're going to join with a slip stitch. We're going to do a chain one. Now this row we're going to do change it up and do 29 single crochet all the way around, but it's going to be in the front loop only. So before we were doing it in the back loop, now we're going to do it in the front loop right there. So we're just going to come up, do a single crochet in the front loop only. See that? So we're not doing it in the back loop, we're just doing it in the front loop. And you're just going to pick that up. Pretty simple, especially with the double strand there, to just slide that right in there and get just the front loop only. Hopefully that makes sense. And as we go around and we're doing that, we are making a little, it's going to flare out, so we're getting that little accent of the rim flaring out. So we're just going to go around front loops. Hope I'm not sliding off the camera there. Just keep going around in those front loops with a single crochet. I'll meet you at the end of the round. All right, we're near the end. We're ready to do our little trim around the top. So first we're going to go ahead and do that. Last two in the front loop only. Now we're skipping that little thing there, that little stitch, and we're going to go right in here with our join. And we're going to chain one, and then we are going to slip stitch into both loops of the next stitch. So just a slip stitch, not a single crochet. And then we're going to chain one, and we're going to do that all the way around. We're going to slip stitch, chain one. So you go through both loops, pull your yarn through, don't yarn over like you would in a single crochet, and then just pull it through, and when you finish, chain one, slip stitch, chain one, slip stitch, chain one, grabbing some extra stuff there, slip stitch, chain one. And just something I like to do when I'm doing a slip stitch is I like to, instead of trying to pull it through this way, I give my hook a little turn and I pull it kind of through the back side of it, and then I'll do my, oops, my chain one. So let me do that again. So I grab it, I give it a little twist to go through it the back way, the back door. Slip stitch, chain one, slip one, slip stitch, chain one, and I'll meet you all the way around at the beginning. Okay, we're at the end of our round. We are pretty much done. Do our slip stitch, chain one, and then it's going to look like there's one more stitch, but we're going to stop right there. We're going to pull it up, snip. And we're going to take our needle. And we're just going to go down here in the bottom of this first stitch. And the top of the last stitch we did. And a little more slack. There we go. All right. Now we're just going to take our tail and bury it just kind of down the side right here. And we're going to tie up our loose ends. And we're going to secure our, where we have our magic circle. And don't worry about stuffing your tails, because this little ridge that we made right here is where we're going to sew our dirt. So everything below that line is going to be filled with stuff and covered up, so you don't have to worry about stuffing or sewing and weaving in your tails. So that is it for the basket for now, and we're ready for leaves and flowers, so we'll do that in the next part. So see you then. Thanks.